Hey there. Today's video is going to be a brief introduction to SOLIDWORKS, and it's going to be the first step in a video walkthrough of the first exercise in our SOLIDWORKS 2020 tutorial booklet that we're going to be working through here. So when you first start up SOLIDWORKS, you'll probably get a screen very similar to the one that you see here. And most of the time, especially starting out, we're going to select Part and hit OK. And then once that loads up, it doesn't look like there's anything going on here, other than a whole bunch of stuff here all along the top and the side that we have no idea what the heck it does. And really, we don't need to know what most of that does right now. The best way usually to learn this sort of software is to only use the tools that you need in the moment and pretend the others don't exist until you do need them. So in SOLIDWORKS, 95% of what we do is going to revolve around these two tabs, the sketch and the features. You can think of features as your 3D and your sketch as your 2D. And most of the time, the way we approach it is we create a two-dimensional sketch and turn it into a three-dimensional model after. So that's what we're going to do. We'll click on Sketch and we'll click on Rectangle. So you notice there's a whole bunch of stuff we could have selected, but we're going to start with a rectangle shape. Now, when you click your basic sketch type, you're going to get this screen, and that is going to show three perspectives, and these are related to technical drawing techniques, and it does kind of matter which perspective you choose. A lot of the time, we're going to be going from the front plane or perspective. You see we also have top and right, but for today's, we're going to be going with the front, so I'm just going to click that. And if I go to draw my rectangle, you want to do this in a kind of purposeful way, because I don't want to just draw it right here, because that's just in a random arbitrary spot. And as my drawing and sketch gets more complex, it becomes more and more, I guess, cumbersome or difficult to build off of that in that random location. So I'm going to hit Escape to cancel that command, and I'm going to go back to my rectangle. And I'm going to go to these two arrows, right? I have my y-axis and my x-axis. And notice my x1 is going on an angle. That's because we're in under this view orientation of isometric. Right here, it's highlighted. We're going to highlight the front view, okay? And, excuse me, and we'll see a little later on how your perspective, that your view orientation really changes the way you look at things. But anyway, I'm going to create my rectangle, and I'm going to do it right in the middle of these two arrows on my origin. And you wait for the little orange circle to pop up, as you can see at the end of my pencil. I'm going to left click once, and then again in a second. Actually, I didn't left click just yet. Notice how my dimensions there in the upper right corner of my rectangle are changing with my mouse. If it gets really difficult to get an exact dimension by clicking with your mouse when you land on it. So instead of trying to get my exact dimension, I'm just going to make it any size. And then over on the left, under my parameters, I'm going to choose my dimension right there. So instead of 3.5, I'm going to hit 5. And you notice my rectangle got longer. In my horizontal dimension, I'm going to hit 3. And it just got a little wider. So that's the size I want, is 5 by 3. And I'm going to leave it at that. Then I can click this first little magnifying glass to go zoom to fit. I mentioned before you can change your perspective. So I'm holding the middle scroll wheel. I'm just clicking holding that. And you can see this is a very thin item, a two-dimensional item. You can also change your perspective in here like we did earlier with our view orientation. I can click on it right there, or I can click on it up here. And there are also hotkeys to do that as well. So for now, I'm going to leave it in the front perspective. And we're going to end this video here. I'm going to keep them all 5 minutes or less. And in the next video, we're going to show you how to turn this two-dimensional item into a 3D object.